GLP-1 medications are changing the conversation around weight loss for women in midlife. And honestly, a lot of women are finally getting the relief they've been seeking for years. Less food noise, fewer cravings. Weight is finally moving after years of feeling stuck. But there's another side of the conversation that almost no one is talking about. And that's, how do we protect our muscle, our metabolism, and energy, and especially long-term health while using these medications? If you don't know me, my name is Kristen DiDomenico. I'm a health coach and a menopause expert, specialist, if you will. This is my wheelhouse, where I've been working with women, both focusing on overall health, including nutrition and workouts, mainly strength training. And it's focused for women in midlife and post-menopause. And over the last year, especially, I've had more and more conversations with women who are either considering GLP-1 medications, they're currently taking them, they are microdosing them or getting them compounded, or they are considering going off of them. And so this is an important conversation to be having. So let me just say something right up front. I want to be really clear about this is not an anti-GLP-1 channel. I've seen these medications help women. I've seen them improve blood sugar. I've seen them reduce cravings. They improve metabolic markers for many women. And for some women, they have real emotional relief around food. But what I've also seen is undereating and underfueling, losing muscle. Women are exhausted. They're not just getting that reduced craving for food, but it parlays over to other areas of life for sure. So they're struggling with digestion, some women. They are just exhausted. Some are becoming afraid of coming off the medication. This is where I think the conversation needs to evolve. Weight loss alone is not the goal. I like to think of it as weight health. If we could change that wording from weight loss to weight health, I've heard that said, because the real goal is strength, right? To be a strong woman, to have energy, to have metabolic health, resilience, and building a body that supports you in the long term. With muscle wasting and bone loss, digestive issues, some of the short-term weight loss, in other words, the number going down on the scale, has to be supported for long-term health, supported with strength training, with improved nutrition, right? And the challenge, of course, and I'll get into this, is around nutrition is you're just not hungry. And so when we're not hungry, we take in less energy. When we take in less energy, we have less energy. When we have less energy, our metabolic health suffers. And this is important, especially in menopause and midlife. And why is it different now? Why is this different? Why do we really have to pay attention to this if we're in midlife? So we know because menopause changes the game. Muscle becomes harder to maintain. Recovery changes, right? It's more challenging to recover, not just from workouts, but from life stressors. Sleep is often a challenging space for many of us. We just aren't getting enough quality sleep. Stress is higher, right? That resilience factor that we used to have when estrogen was on board, we have lost a lot of that. And it's just a basic fact. And the strategies that worked, you've heard me say this if you've followed any of my videos, that used to work in our 20s and 30s and even early 40s, it changes. It does not work. It not only doesn't work, it can work against us. So let's just bring up some of the science behind this of what I'm talking about. Research shows that women on these medications eat significantly fewer calories. And this goes back to that energy in, energy out. And sometimes as much as fewer calories as 16 to 39% less when they're not taking this medication. If women are not intentional about protein, nutrition, movement, and recovery, part of that weight loss is going to be from muscle. There's no way around it. And finally, in menopause, we're already more vulnerable to losing muscle and bone density. And this is so important for us in our long-term health, right? We know that losing muscle and losing bone is detrimental. Maybe not today, but in 10 years we will really suffer and see those effects, and mainly in losing our ability to be independent. Without muscle on board, we lose mobility, we lose strength, cognition goes down, brain cognition, metabolic health. Eventually, you will hit that plateau without these lifestyle pieces in place. And so it's really important to know that now is the time to really work on preserving muscle and bone. And to do that, we need protein and we need strength training, right? So more to come on that. So in this series, I'm going to do a series on this, and I'm going to hit several markers around either thinking about being on a GLP, or if you're on a GLP or you're considering going off a GLP, how to work with your body to benefit from that medication. Not because the medication is dealing with the symptoms, not the root cause. Meaning the symptoms are dealt with, but when you go off the medication, the root cause rises and everything will come back to the way it was. So if we can get things in place and help you come up with a structure that serves your body now, along with the GLP-1, if that is something you're doing, then you're getting to the root and you will have that long-term health and longevity to support your body. So in this series, I want to talk to you about nutrition strategies. I'm going to talk about preserving muscle, exercise, what works, what maybe doesn't anymore. And that's a good thing. These are exciting things that we're learning about at this stage in life. Sleep and nervous system regulation, really important, right? If we are not recovering, if our body is not able to recover and regenerate, day in, day out, we are coming from a state of depletion, and that over time will catch up with us. Digestion and gut health. This is a biggie for all of us, just because gut motility is a challenge, a big challenge in midlife. Everything is starting to slow down, and we know being on a GLP-1 can even increase that further for many women. So, and the final thing I want to talk about, if this is a place you want to go, is how to transition off these medications in a healthier way, if that is your goal, right? For some, it isn't. You may want to stay on this, and that may work for you. For some, they don't want those continuing side effects, or maybe it's expense, or maybe it's just they want to try a different way and they feel like they've gotten that boost or that jump start and they want to continue. And that's where hiring a coach who is schooled in understanding GLP-1 drugs and someone who can help you transition from taking them to going off of them. And because if we can remember that this isn't just about losing weight. Remember I said if we could transfer from losing weight to, weight health, right? Weight loss to weight health. That's really what we're after, because it's about supporting your body where it is at this stage in life and setting you up for a healthy lifestyle where you can thrive in 50s, 60s, 70s, into 80s, maybe 90s. We don't want to be that woman sitting in a corner in a wheelchair because we broke a hip, because we don't have either brain capacity or bodily functions, because we've wasted away to a very skinny elder person who isn't necessarily healthy, right? So we want to focus on weight health and learning how are you going to build, let's build the habits and the routines that you can do day in, day out without even thinking about it. So it's building that structure, practicing the structure so that no matter what, you are building health forward. And so if you're considering a GLP-1, you're currently taking a GLP-1, or you're considering going off of a GLP-1, I hope that this series helps you make an informed, empowered decision for you, for your life, for your body, and for your health. And so in the next video, we're diving into nutrition and the biggest mistakes that I see women making on these medications after menopause. Stay tuned. I'll see you there.